there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. First time in a long time, huh? Two major things that the Looks Matter crew get wrong. Two major things that they get wrong. Not just one, but two. And when I'm talking about, let me be clear, the Looks Matter crew, that's the crew, those are people who think only looks matter. And that gets into the first thing they get wrong, thinking only looks matter. Now, let's be clear on something. I've said many times looks do matter, but then also your shoes matter. Your breath matters. Your mouthpiece matters. Everything matters. When you're dealing with women, everything, they look at everything. Now, in the description box, I'm sharing a woman's chart of, at least one woman's chart of the things they look at. And yeah, appearance is on there, but then some other stuff like how you talking. They ain't use the word mouthpiece, but how you talking, your swagger, things of that nature. Women look at every single thing. Yes, and see, one thing the Looks Matters crew get into the face, and I'm going to get into that in a bit, but they'll just get into the face and say, oh, well, it's just the face matters. No. Everything matters with a woman. Everything. And that's where the Looks Matters crew, they get caught up. Because they'll challenge anybody who'll talk about personality and stuff. In fact, I've seen some people in the Looks Matters crew talking about personality don't matter. How many women have you dealt with? How many times have I said, a woman will say, oh yeah, he looked all right, he was fine, until he opened his mouth. It's very important, seriously. Now let's not act like looks don't matter because women checking it out. But then they going beyond that. But see, the Looks Matters crew think it's just looks, it's just face. Okay, if that's the case, how come so many people out here are looking for handsome man game? They shouldn't need handsome man game. If it's just looks, if it's just their faces, if it's just how handsome it is, they just need to show up. Even a video I did saying you don't have to work that hard. Yeah, you still got to do a little something. You still got to talk to the women. You still got to have a certain personality. And really, the biggest thing is you still got to click with them. There's plenty of times when women will see a guy and say he's handsome and keep walking. Then they'll see another guy and they'll say he's handsome, but they might go crazy. But see, that's the thing though, it depends. You could be handsome to a woman, it don't matter. She can say it. On the gift they keep on giving, the balloon pop shows, the women always say, oh yeah, the guy's handsome. But, he's handsome, but it's something else that turned him off. It's something he said turned him off. There's plenty of women who go on that show and they'll say something about the guy turned him off, something he said. Indeed, a woman can meet a guy, think he handsome, go on a date with him, but the date don't go well because he said something, he did something. It's more than that. Yes, they paying attention to that, but then they also looking at how you dressed. They looking at how you move, how you talk, how you interact with people, how you interact with them. They looking at how cool you are. They looking at a whole bunch of things. Don't think for 1 second women ain't checking it out. Now, men may just go crazy over just a woman's looks. And that's our nature. That's our nature. Even though a mature man is going to look at more things. But see, women, they always looking at more stuff. They looking at everything. When they meet a man, they will look you up and down. You know? They will look that man up and down. That's why I said I'm famous for saying a man's shoes could get his dick sucked. They looking at that. I had mentioned before, a woman told me, she looked me in the eye and told me straight up, she didn't like my shoes. She said it might be a while before you get married. This was back in the day. Now, the thing was, she just didn't like, she didn't like my shoes. Like if they don't like your clothes, they don't like something. Because they're looking at everything. If it was just the face, first of all, body game wouldn't matter. Height wouldn't matter. Clothes wouldn't matter. Style wouldn't matter. And then what you having in a conversation, all that shit wouldn't matter. And see, the looks matter, screw. That's all they talking. They think it's just looks. Now, yeah, they right. Looks and. That's what they should say. Looks and. That's a part of it. When I've talked about the pillars of game that was outlined by the master teacher BGS. And don't ask which video it was. It was on a blog talk radio show. He talked about it. It was just, he said it was what he would call a trap or your bait, your appearance. That get him over there. All right, that's cool. That get him over there. You still got to talk to him. And then it's how you have sex with them. Many men lose their women in the bedroom. Sorry, I got to say it properly. Bedroom. Shout out Morris Day. Shoot. And then, even then, before anything else, it's the environment that you're in. There's a lot of factors. Shoot, I wish it was just that easy. They would just look. And then there's a second part of that too. All women don't like the same looks. There's a bunch of guys out here, and really it's some racial shit behind it, thinking women just like a guy with a square jaw. Yeah, but there's some women that like a guy with a round face. Some women that like a guy with a heart-shaped face, a diamond-shaped face. Women going to see different types of men as handsome. They ain't no universal thing. Anybody, that's why I always check it when somebody tries to say objective. I wish it was. Shoot. If you actually talk to some women and ask what they like, talk to some women, talk to some women. If you talk to 100 women, they all going to say something different. The best you'll get is maybe 10, maybe 20 of them at best might say the same thing. And even then, they still might not like something. And even then, let's hypothetically say you get like 20 women out of 100 who say they like a square jaw. All right. They like that square jaw. But then they might reject that man because the barber didn't bless him. They don't like his haircut. And even with the haircut, you get some guys thinking that every guy got to have hair. It depends on the woman. Some women like a guy who's like got short, close cropped hair. Some women like a guy who's long hair. And even with the hair piece, it still don't matter. If a woman want to have sex with a guy, I know this woman, I ain't mentioned her before, she likes surfer boys with that killer body and long hair. Yet she got with a guy she called overweight who was shaved bald. Not just one time either. I'm going to tell you something with women. They like different things. That's why I always say, that's why my mantra, what I'm teaching is just be your best and see who likes it. And every woman ain't going to like your shit, but you don't need them to. There's 4 billion women in the world. If you get a different woman every single day for a year, 365, 366 during leap year, you are still, that's just a tiny drop in the ocean. And every man, if he really fixes himself up, he will find there's going to be some women who are checking for him, checking for his looks. And even then, not even just his looks, but other stuff that he's bringing. Because one thing with women, they look at so many factors when they dealing with a man. Because you get some women, you can't even say it's good looks. You get some women, they don't want a man who looks better than they do. Or as they say, they don't want to get with a man who look like he'll be in the mirror more than them. Some women like a medium ugly. I've actually met women who say they like ugly. These women don't want a guy that looks better than they do. But every woman is different. Then some other women, they want that guy who look like supermodel of the world. Only thing a man can do, the only thing he can do is just be his best. Get his best look, get his signature style, grooming and everything, and then see who likes it. See who's liking not just his appearance, but then who can he have conversations with? He still got to have a conversation. I don't care how great you look or how great you think you look, even to that woman. She still wants to be able to have that conversation with you. You still got to talk to him. Because let me put it another way. Let me jump on that for a second. Use some common sense. That woman ain't going to just grab you and just take you home and just have sex with you. The only place that you even have a chance of that happening is if you're at a party or something and she's drunk and y'all have a quickie. That's the only place. But let's be real. Most men ain't going to meet a woman under those circumstances. Even men who are insistent on trying to meet a woman online. And there's some meet them online, but like it or not, you still got to meet them in person. And what y'all going to do in person? She just going to stare at you? No, she going to talk to you. Now, she might give you, she might like how you look, and she might give you a little bit extra time, and that's the best it can do. But then what you going to say during that time? You get a few seconds, you get what? 40 seconds extra. You get a few seconds extra, but then what are you going to say during that time? Because, like I said, women will say he looked good till you open his mouth. In fact, if a man looks good and he don't have good conversation, the woman actually gets mad at the man. She actually gets angry at him because if he looks good, she's going to have a higher expectation. But then that's why a guy who might be average looking, but he have a great conversation, he has a great mouthpiece, he'll get over a little bit better. Because on his case, what he can do, he can always, he'll have points added to him. Meanwhile, that handsome, he might start at a, let's say he started at a 5. His conversation can take him up to an 8. But if that man started at a 10 and he don't have a conversation and he all goofy, that'll take him down to a 5. Because women looking at everything. In fact, they might look at a guy and say he's handsome, but they're like, well, okay, his clothes are whack. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? He got a bad pair of shoes. Because even in situations where women want to build a bear, a build-a-boo, he still got to talk to him no matter what. He still got to have that conversation no matter what. Because trust me, even when you see a woman, she get with a guy and he all that, trust me, there's still that conversation in there. They still got to click personality-wise. And see, that's the thing. I mean, those are the things. You got to just think about it. This ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. This ain't something that you got to think about hard. You know, they ain't just looking at looks. And then it's still, even when looks come into the picture, it still has to be a situation where a woman likes those particular looks. Because, like I said, if you don't believe me, actually talk to some women. And I know that's hard for some guys, but talk to some women. They're going to like different things. Shoot, I guarantee I got plenty of women who watch this. They can tell you they like different things. I mean, I wish it was a case where women just like one thing. You know what? If that was the case, every human being would look alike. But there's so many factors that go into why a woman might consider a man whatever. It's so many factors, so many things. Now I know some guys will think, oh, that's unfair. Oh well. Women think it's unfair that they judged on just their beauty. Oh well. So what? A man's judged on every factor. Oh well. Don't get mad. It is what it is. You just deal with it. That's why a man need to fix up as much as possible, and not according to anybody else. He got to fix up according to what he can do. Like when I talk about body game, let's talk about that for a second, because a lot of guys thinking a body game is just one body. It's like, no. I mean, you get some guys, they slim, some guys who more athletic build, some guys who are big guys, and I've seen every type of man with a woman who's on them hard. In fact, if I were to get a group of players in a room, I've seen players who were big, who had weight on them. I've seen them who were very slim. You just got to go with what works for you, because being a player anyway is more about mindset. That'll be another video. I've talked about that before, but I know I'm going to go over it again. But you gotta have a lot of stuff. But like I said, if it was just looks, think about it. It wouldn't need handsome man game. Now looks go in there. Everything go in there. Shoot, how you fucking smell go in there. Check out that video I did where I presented that chart. And that was from a woman's website. I still don't know who I got it from. I always said, I even said in the video, I said, hey, why don't you, I said, if the woman sees it, just shout herself out. I don't know. It was, over a decade ago. I got it. But that's how women are. Shoot, some women can add to it. Shoot, even, and like I said, it's different stuff you got to bring. You got to have a combination of things. And even with looks, it's not just one look. Like I said, and I've said several times, my favorite rejection, when I got rejected, a woman said she didn't want to get with me because she said I was too pretty. She said I had nice eyes and smooth skin. She liked rougher guys. And you get some women like that. Every woman likes something different. All you have to do as a man is figure out what works for you. That's it. That's it. And here's a funny thing too. Some guys thinking it's one thing, but these guys aren't that thing, so how would they know? Only way they would know is if they were there. It's like those guys who talk about, oh, it's just money. Okay, you got money you getting women by? How you know it's just money? You know, let me go on a tangent real quick. It's kind of funny guys think something will work when they don't know personally whether it'll work. Think about it. They don't know personally whether it'll work or not. And that's the most important thing. Do you know personally whether it work or not? Because they like different shit. Shoot. And I know somebody probably say, oh, bro, how you know? Well, I've had some women get with me, and they were like, as far as my looks, but there was some other shit they liked. And then some other women were like, oh, well, yeah, you look great. So it's always something. And in fact, anybody who's been with enough women, they could probably tell you different shit work with different women. Because it still come down to the women. Women are different. They ain't robots out here. Every woman likes something different, and it can get into stuff like your religion, your social class, where you work, how you making your money, your lifestyle. And yeah, height does matter. They paying attention to it. They pay attention. See, understand one thing. And I've said this several times. I'll probably have to keep saying it. Women check out every little thing. And some things they might give you a low score. Some things they might give you a high score. It's just like that chart I shared. Some things you get a high score on, a low score on, whatever. Shoot, I knew this woman. Shoot, she said she'll take an ugly man with a big dick. Yeah, they scoring that too. So let's not pretend that thing not. Yeah. So you gotta think about all of it. You gotta think about all of it. So anyway, let me go over here. Anyway, go over here, get my vittles. Food for those who don't know, the Beverly Hillbillies. Alright, so anyway, y'all, I want y'all to think about this, especially looks matter is never just looks, and women just gonna like different looks. It's just that simple, alright? Anyway, that's all I got for today. Get back with y'all tomorrow. Peace.